Ladies and gentlemen, Seahawks fans of all ages, welcome back to the 12 Talk podcast. A little bit later than usual. Mitch and I have had some engagements elsewhere, me with work and him with personal stuff. So we've had to delay this pod. And unfortunately, our special guest we've had to delay for 2 pods. So we had to get this done because I'm so excited to talk to him. You may notice that it is just me at this intro part. Now, don't worry, it's not just me or pod. I have 2 fantastic guests. But before I go any further, I just want to say thanks to everyone for joining in. If you would be so kind and you haven't already, if you want to hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, it helps us out. It helps us reach more and more 12s. And if you do want to talk to 12s at any time of the day from all over the world, join our Discord. The link is in the description below, and you can speak to 12s from all over the place. We have got 12s from the UK, Ireland, Germany, Canada, obviously the US, and Gibraltar. The list is growing and growing, and we're so proud of that community that's building. But I would like to introduce to you my special guest co-host for the 12 Talk podcast tonight. You have heard him on here many times and seen him. He's our resident German Seahawker. So instead of being in the chat tonight, he'll actually be sharing the screen with me. Jonas Meister, wie geht's?
Hi, how are you? Sehr gut geht's mir. Und dir?
Yeah, sehr good. Right, thanks so much for jumping on. I mean, obviously, Mitch was unable to join tonight, and we're very fortunate, like I said, with our Discord and obviously the relationships we've built there, that I knew there was someone that I could get in contact with straight away. And I've just seen that Ben's in the comments saying,
I won't run, Ben, sorry.
Yeah, cheers, mate. But yeah, so thanks so much for coming on. How is everything over in Germany? How is everything with the German Seahawkers? Awesome, cracking jersey, by the way.
Yeah, I told you I had to wrap it the next time I'm on the pod. I got the black one. So yeah, everything's good. We're really loving how the Seahawks are doing here. So yeah, might as well jump on and talk about it a bit.
I'm so looking forward to speaking to Brendon about this. Having followed his social media, his YouTube for so long, he's always so in depth and so articulate about sort of the points he brings across, which is something that sometimes we may lack because, you know, I am quite an emotive person. I'm quite glad that we've actually waited till Wednesday to do this pod, purely because on Monday it might have been a very different pod from me. Whereas I've taken time to reflect, rewatch the game, try and sort of pinpoint some plays and sort of see where things turn.
And you're zen.
Exactly. I feel much more zen now, even after driving for 6 hours to get home yesterday. So yeah, I'm tired man today. But I just want to say thanks for everyone who's joining in, whether you're joining through ours or from Brendon's YouTube. We really appreciate you tuning in. I think we should just cut to it and we should hit that intro, bring Brendon in and start talking Hawks. What do you think?
Definitely. Go for it.
Let's do this. Here he is, the man, our main guest, Brendon Nelson. Brendon, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, man. It's great to be here.
Thanks so much for your patience as well. As I said earlier, we tried to get you on an earlier pod and everything went wrong. And then this week, things happened. So it had to be done because I am so intrigued to hear your points of view on this game and where we are as a team so far this season. And I know all of our viewers will be as well. So before we start, we go into usually our highlights, winners and losers. There's going to be comments coming from our Discord members and our YouTube viewers as well. But I'd just like to get your feelings currently. So with our record at the moment being 9-3, How are you feeling about the team at the moment?
I'm feeling very positive about it because not only is the record good, like you just said, the record's obviously good, but I think they are building something that is very sustainable and something that will not only, I believe, work well when they get into the postseason here, assuming they make it, which seems very likely at this point, but it's also something that really looks like it's going to be sustainable beyond just this one season. When you look at all the youth, when you look at the cap space that this team still has, when you look at the fact that a lot of these extensions they do are not really going to kick in until several years down the line, because that's how extensions work, of course, there's really a lot to like here, even if you're not necessarily thinking that this current Seahawks team is going to be the team that goes all the way. There's going to be many opportunities to get that team going in the next few years, I think, because this is something that should last for a while.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Mitch and I have said on this pod since last season, we see this as a 3-year rebuild, and this is year 2. And as things go, I think we are ahead of the curve, which is fantastic. I mean, Jonas, since we last spoke to you, how are you feeling about the team and the record?
Yeah, like I told you, I've been writing in the Discord and in our watch parties. I'll feel the same as Brendon does. It's they're on a really good track, especially looking at the past couple of weeks, how the team has grown. We're gonna get into the nitty-gritty bit, but especially the leadership from Mike McDonald and seeing the chances John Schneider took on free agents like DeMarcus Lawrence and signing Ernest Jones to an extension because Ernest wanted to be here. It all points to this direction, like Brendon said, that they're going to build something special, and that they are going to build something that will last beyond this season.
Yeah, sustainability is something that you cry out for. I mean, you've got some teams that have shot without being too crude, shot their load really early. You know, you look at Tampa Bay, who had the Brady thing, and then they won the Super Bowl, but that wasn't sustainable. They're now in a bit of a retool with Baker, and I'm just hoping now that with Darnold at the helm, with the coaching staff, with the defense that we're building, with the exceptionally young core of players we've got, that's something that we can keep together for 3, 4, 5 years going forward. And Mike Mack will be able to really put a stamp on this team. So, gentlemen, for anyone who is new to this pod, we like to, obviously, analytics are absolutely fine, but as fans, we can all be quite emotive, and we all have our set plays. You'll see a lot of them that either are, they're shown everywhere, but sometimes we pick out ones that we think deserve the spotlight. Sometimes they're ones that you will have seen a lot, but we like to talk about them anyway. So with that, let's go into our highlights. Now, our highlights are they're picked individually. We try not to get any input from other people. It's purely what really floated our boats during these games. And as always, as typical British gents on this pod, we will start with our special guest. Brendon, what was your first highlight, sir?
I think that it simply has to be the first Ernest Jones interception, because that was at a point in the game where it could have gone either way. It was 3-0. Minnesota had the ball, goal to go. And at that point, we didn't totally know what we had. The offense did not look very good. They had just turned the ball over. Brian Flores was in his bag I know he hasn't had as good a year as he did last year, but he had a very, very good game on Sunday, I think. And there was still some room for something very surprising to happen in that game. But when that play happens, it kind of almost felt like the game was over, because Minnesota was not going to get a better chance to score. And when this team is in a position where when they get up by even a margin as relatively small as 10 points, it really kind of feels like the game is over, because they're playing a third string quarterback and they're at home. So I think that has to be the most important play of this game, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, and it was so nice to see him get in the end zone, wasn't it? I mean, the whole sort of the passage of play, the pressure from D-Law has just been outstanding, and that is what caused it. I mean, we've had occasions this season where we've had interceptions or sacks caused by pressure from, say, Spoon or Big Cat, but D-Law has just been ever present. And then it unfortunately went to show that this is a third string rookie who, I can't remember what college it was, in New Hampshire he was at before he transferred to
Minnesota. He's a
Minnesota, yeah. There you go. I'm pretty sure the Vikings asked for him to come to the combine or something. I was listening with half an ear, but he just threw up a complete panic ball. Ernest Jones capitalized, and yeah, it was a fantastic play to see for a man who is really showing that he is an elite inside linebacker in this league as well.
Yeah, and the thing to keep in mind is when we got Ernest Jones about a year ago, a little more than a year ago in that trade, even the people that liked him said that his big weakness is he's not good in coverage. He's not a good cover linebacker. And I'm not saying that he's a great cover linebacker, but one thing we've really seen this year is how good awareness he has of landmarks when he's in his zone drops, and just his general understanding of where he needs to be relative to the play is really good. And it does overcome some of those limitations that he might have athletically as a cover player. This is something that doesn't happen very often. He's got 5 interceptions this year. There have been 3 inside linebackers to reach 5 interceptions in a season this century. Just to give you an idea of how hard it is, I remember 18 years ago, Lofa Tatupu, great Seahawks inside linebacker, had 3 interceptions in one game.
Was that against the Eagles, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And he did not get to 5 interceptions that year. So it's very rare that this happens. So it's really cool because, again, this was supposed to be the problem with Ernest Jones, and he has been about the furthest thing from a problem in that area. So really, really cool stuff there.
Yeah, it's seeing him as well, I'm enjoying his tandem with Drake Thomas as well, who is someone we speak about pretty much on a weekly basis now. And yeah, I always anticipated it being more a Drake Thomas being the shorter, quicker coverage, sideline to sideline linebacker, with EJ actually hitting the holes and putting the pressure on. But it seems to have, they've swapped those roles around. And EJ, like I said, he's got 5 interceptions. He's tied second in the NFL for interceptions, and he's got 0.5 sacks. Whereas you look at Drake Thomas, the constant pressure he's putting on a quarterback and an O-line, I think it's just fantastic to see. And that's just Mike Mack, who we'll talk about more later, just working his magic. Jonas, what was your first highlight, my friend?
My highlight, actually, it's a long-running theme, and I'm happy that I get to pick it up. So it's actually the Rick Woolen interception and the story behind the Rick Woolen interception. So generally speaking about Rick, he has been playing much better since his concussion, which he went out for a couple of games. First of all, I know you got to be a bit of a bee in your bonnet about him getting silly penalties. So I looked it up, and he has 1 penalty since week 4 in Arizona. It was a taunting penalty where he stood over I don't know if it was Deebo Samuel in the Commanders game. So he hasn't had a penalty since. And to get into the play, it's like he was in really good coverage, and he was actually making up for his coach, because Mike actually said that it was his responsibility. He made the wrong call, and he said, bad call by me, great call by them, and a better play by Rick. So he's taking responsibility for it. So it was really good coverage. He kind of undercut the route a bit. It reminded me of his pick 6 against the Lions.
The Lions, his rookie.
Yeah, it was pretty much the same. And then, yeah, we get to the ball security thing, and actually, I think Reek has a really good sense of humor, as does Mike, because he posted on X, I think. He posted that he thought he was running back number 1, and he clarified afterwards. So he wrote that he's most definitely gonna go down in close games, but he still got this bit of wide receiver in him. So he wanted to try, and and because of that, like, Mike saw it, and he said he was yelling to him from the sideline, "Ball security!" immediately, because Reed was having the ball at his hand and kept floating it around. And Mike actually said anybody else in the stadium was yelling it too. And after that, he said, "Yeah, come on, man! Such a great play. It was a phenomenal play." And then until he caught it, and then it was a bad play. So they're really going for it, and Mike takes responsibility. Reed knows what he did wrong. It wasn't close at this point, so it really didn't matter. But the thing is, which shows for me, yes, he still shows inconsistency. He can be a bit careless. One thing that bugs you the most, probably. He got the French say kind of a laissez-faire attitude. Mm-hmm. So he lets the things flow. He seems very relaxed, and I think it's his personality. And if you want to change this personality by putting in a role that he isn't, I think that it can be a detriment to the team. So I think it would be unwise to try to change him and still build on his strength, which the coaches actually are doing, and it shows that he's playing much better since he got concussed. And so which leads into your end.
No, but you know what? I think I spend enough time every week talking about Requillen, and as we've got Brendon on the pod, I would like to get his impartial take as someone who's not been on the pod before. Brendon, what's your opinion on Reek? Before I give mine.
I think there's a little bit. I think the frustration with Reek stems from this sense that I don't know how much he really. I think there's a sense that he doesn't love football the way some other players do. Like, this is something that he does, and he's very good at it. I think there's a sense that he's not getting everything he can out of his talent that he could. Like, there's a lack of commitment to getting better in some areas that you don't see from a guy like Devin Witherspoon. That's a guy who loves football. That's a guy who has dedicated his life to football. And you don't get that sense with Woolen. And sometimes I think you get the sense that he still wishes he was a wide receiver, because remember, he was a wide receiver for most of his football career, and that he converted to cornerback kind of on a whim. So I think there's some frustration from that. I think if you look at it objectively, he's always been a really excellent player in coverage. His coverage metrics are pretty much always about as good as they get. His ball production is unheard of, and he's doing a lot of good things for this team. But I understand the frustration. I understand the concern. I think that there is some fear about what happens after you give him the big contract. And I think those things are understandable, but right now he's not on a big contract. He's on actually a very, very cheap contract. And I think we are getting more than our money's worth. And while I do get annoyed with him from time to time, like I think all of us do, I think we have to keep things in perspective here. Not everybody is going to be dedicated to living, breathing, and sleeping football the way that a guy like a Devin Witherspoon is. And that's okay. So I think we are getting more than our money's worth out of Woolen. Sometimes that's going to be enough.
Okay, it's a very objective view.
Definitely.
I too, just to illuminate you on my view, I agree with the fact that for the contract he's on and where he was picked, someone who converted to cornerback, was it in his second year of college or something? He still has a lot to learn. My big issue comes in, like you said, he seems to have to take Jonas's phrase, a laissez-faire attitude towards football, towards the play, where with what's been highlighted since he's joined the league, his tackling, his want for contact, that is something that I have always had an issue with. However, there is no denying in coverage when he is on, he is one of the best cornerbacks in the league. There you go. Are you happy, Jonas? I said something nice about Reek. Okay. And I think that this went to show, I think it was a matter of the defense knew that they were pulling the Vikings' pants down. And Reek just got the ball in his hands, and I think it was a bit of overexcitement. It was a great grab, and the fact that he managed to go sort of sideline, and back in shows his athleticism. He just got a bit cocky with it and unfortunately spilt the ball, but it shows that he can still come up with those plays. Now we just need more consistency with that for the rest of the year. So there we go. And the world is not ending. Yes, I did say nice things about Reek. Sometimes it does happen. No, it's not Ragnarok. All right. So that gives you a general gist there, Brendon, of how my conversation around Reek will go on this pod. So, Brendon, you have another highlight.
Right. That would be the DeMarcus Lawrence forced fumble, because that was the only other chance the Vikings had to score in that game. And they probably would have if not for that forced fumble, actually. But granted, the game is basically over at that point, but that is such a cool play because, and I think Greg Olson did a good job pointing this out on the broadcast, so I'm not the first person to point this out, but like DeMarcus Lawrence is completely out of that play, and for him, the play is over. Like he could just get up, watch him get tackled, go to the sideline, and watch the Vikings try to kick a field goal, and he comes back into the play from like 12 yards behind. And DeMarcus Lawrence is I think he's 34 years old, been in this league a long time, got a lot of miles on him. That's not necessarily the kind of play you expect the 34-year-old guy to be making in week 13 of an NFL season where he's played quite a bit. So I look at something like that, and it kind of represents to me what this team is bringing that recent Seahawks teams have not necessarily had. There's a real desire to just not just win, but try to be the best. It goes back to the Legion of Boom defenses, that 4 straight years we had of the number 1 overall defense in the league in scoring. And those defenses didn't just want to win games. They wanted to be the best defense in the league. And they established a level of greatness that I don't think we're ever going to see again, maybe in the NFL. You're not going to see another streak of one team leading the league in scoring defensively 4 straight seasons. So I look at that and I kind of see that same thing on a play like that.
Yeah, pure effort. And this is what I said. This is my bugbear with Reek Woolen. It's sometimes a lack of effort and want on his behalf. That from a veteran was pure effort and pure want to be part of the play and make a difference. And that's what he's brought to this. With him and Big Cat in that line now, it is pure effort and want from everyone. And that is, if he can show that to the younger players, then by all means, he can. I'll happily have him for the whole of his contract and just let him keep making those effort plays. Jonas, what did you think of D-Law on that? We've got a few comments coming in, so...
Yeah, I think you said it already, but yeah, he's such an important piece. Like we didn't really laugh about it when they signed him in the offseason. They gave him a 3-year contract, which we all thought was probably a bit much, but the things he's giving this team, like you really could see it in the Tampa Bay game. where the only game he missed this season. Like before the season started, everybody was saying, "Oh, he's a bit injury prone, and he maybe just like be a good run stopper on the outside." But he's been so much more than that. And in the game where against the Buccaneers, where he was missing, you can really feel it afterwards. Like looking at it now, you can really see how much he was missing. And obviously about the play, Mike called it his new favorite play, the best play he's ever seen. So this such a high praise with all the effort and leadership he brings. So yeah, I think this is one of the gold standard pickups of John Schneider, where John Schneider makes his money.
It's quite possibly the best free agent pickup that John Schneider has made in his tenure as a Seahawks GM.
Yeah.
There's not many others so you can look at. I mean, Chenna was free agent, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Who else? Was Cliff Averill free agent? Michael Bennett.
Mm-hmm. Sidney Rice. I mean, Sidney Rice didn't work out that well, but Zach Miller was really good. Zach Miller, I like Zach Miller.
And this is it. I think these are the unspoken things that where John has had a lot of bad press for his drafting with P and some of his free agent pickups, the trades of Jamal Adams and whatnot. When he makes a free agent pickup like this and everyone doubted him, you have to start going, actually, maybe he does know what he's doing, and it is being proven. He's brought a proven vet into this team to work alongside a fantastic defensive head coach with other proven vets on that D-line, and he is playing out of his skin. It's amazing to see. I had my final highlight. So our final highlight here, I had Kobe Bryant's interception.
Mm-hmm.
Because in our Discord, on our watch party, Kobe had missed 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, he's going to get one tonight. And there was a few, oh, yeah, okay. And I said, no, honestly, he's around the ball. He's doing what Kobe does. He manages to find where that ball is and something will come of it. And lo and behold, it did. So what was it? 1st and 10. There was 1:04 left in the third. The Vikings threw it from, I believe they're 47. I've got 47. And it was picked off on the Seahawks 21-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
That is, Kobe Bryant he bet on himself this year when it came to his extension. Didn't extend early. And now he's playing himself into a big contract, either with us or with another team. And that's what scares me. If it's with another team, I quite like the safety group we've got. I don't know how you guys feel about that safety group, but for me, I think it's going to be one of the best in the league.
Yeah, I think the thing to keep in mind is Seattle is going to have a lot of cap space. And it seems like they've already kind of decided they're not going to keep Woolen because there's been a lot of buzz around the fact that we don't see him as a good fit for this defense. Doesn't seem like we're that interested in keeping Ken Walker around, although I think that could change because he's playing better this year. And he's also held up this year. But I still am not convinced that he's going to stick around. And when you take those two guys out, in terms of guys that need to be extended right this very second, you've got Rashid Shaheed probably, and that's about it, because Cross, JSN, Witherspoon, those guys, their extensions kick in a year or two down the line. You don't really have to worry about that much, even if you extend them now. So there is plenty of money to keep Kobe around, even if he wants a bigger contract than we were initially thinking about giving him. And safety contracts are hard. I don't know what Kobe's extension might look like, but there is money around here to give him if you want to. Remember, one element to this upcoming offseason, Drake Thomas and you have Drake Thomas, you have Jalen Sundle, and you have there's one other guy on this team that's restricted, which means you can keep them at a depressed cost. Okay. So keeping those guys around, and I don't think Job is going to be very expensive. You can keep him around, and it's not going to cost that much money. Ty Okada. If you want to keep him around too, that's actually going to be very cheap as well because he's restricted. So there's going to be money to play with for sure. So I actually think Kobe will stick because we've already shown that we want to keep him more than a guy like Walker or Woolen.
I like it. What do you think, Jonas?
Yeah, I really like Kobe to stay. I don't know if the Seahawks have other priorities, but they're also pretty high on Ty Okada, and then there's obviously there's Julian Love. You don't know what they're gonna play with Nick Imanwari because Mike said this week after the game that they're like really free flowing in what they're gonna do with Imanwari. It's not like they don't know what they're gonna do, but they'll see what sits and what he's good at. So yeah, I don't know how they see themselves depth wise, but it all depends on the price. Like the Seahawks try to sign Kobe before the season, and talks did stall out. So yeah, it might be that the Seahawks are saying, okay, we have depth behind Julian Love and have other options if he gets too expensive. But yeah, he's bringing a lot of good stuff to this defense, and I really like him to stay. But in the NFL, it's still a business. You'll never know.
And this is it. If anyone watching, let us know what you think. If you think we should keep Kobe and try and keep this nucleus of safety together with Ty Okada, if he's a restricted free agent and we can get him for cheap as well, that gives us some fantastic backup. I would have loved to have kept Jarek Reed. Obviously, we've got Quandre Diggs in there now, who's been elevated, but probably down to the practice squad. Absolutely fantastic. But I think that's a position of strength within this team at the moment. So with that, they were our highlights. And it's been amazing seeing so many people sort of saying so much in the comments. It's one thing that we love on this pod. One thing that we also love to do is pick winners and losers from a game. Now, again, winners can be a winner on the stat sheet, a winner for a play, a winner for what they've brought to the game, and a loser, you can take that however you want. But we all pick, our guests pick more than us. And as is customary, our guest is going to start with his first winner.
Yeah, well, this correlates pretty strongly to my highlight plays, of course. But you've got DeMarcus Lawrence. It wasn't just the pressure that created the pick six, by the way, and it wasn't even just the fumble. He had a sack outside of that as well. And the thing is, he barely played in this game. He played 20 snaps. So what he did in that game,
everywhere.
Yeah. And he played very little. He barely qualified for some of the like pass rush win rate stats because he was not on the field. And the fact that he did what he did on 20 snaps, you don't see that very often. And that was actually kind of a recurring theme in this game, which was nice. Like Leonard Williams didn't play very much in this game either. He played 29 snaps because the win was so definitive that they didn't need to stay out there the whole game. And I like things like that, especially this late in the season.
Gives people like your Brandon Peely's time to get out there as well, doesn't it? Gives them time to move them around within the D line just to create a bit more depth and familiarity. I think, Jonas, I'll let you wax lyrical about D-Law first, and I'll take it in the rear.
Yeah, like we already talked about him. It's just amazing how much he literally got left in the tank. But it's just he's also such a such a veteran presence for the edge rushers and also Byron Murphy who talked about him also. He like. For Byron, it's Leo and Jaron Reed are his like big brothers on the team,
mentors.
But he's also going to D-Law for advice, and he's for like Boye Mafe and Derek Hall. He will be such a good leader and mentor, like Cooper Cup is for JSN, and it's so valuable to have such veterans on your team. And it's really good. I also looked it up that he's still on the team for 2 more years, so through the 2027 season. So I think he's gonna lead the way there.
Yeah, it is. It's great to have him in. I mean, we've said it before. I don't want to blow too much smoke up D-Law, because I think everyone's doing that at the moment. But he's just become an invaluable piece to this Mike Mack defense, this defensive front. Jonas, your winner.
Yeah, the special teams, like Amy likes to say Jay Harbour gets another week. Because the special teams, like in a whole, were a really big part of this game, to spearheaded by Jason Myers, who went. Who kicked 4 out of 4 field goals, 2 beyond 50 yards, a 54 and a 56-yarder, 2 extra points. So he contributed 14 out of 26 points, which is really, really important. Michael Dixon, 4 punts, above 50 yards average, 1 inside the 20, 1 inside the 5, which was really important to give the Vikings some I'd like to say awful field position, and which contributed as well was the kick return game, like we saw against the Titans. It obviously didn't match up with the DK return for a TD, and Darian Kendrick whiffed on that play and missed the deciding tackle and got cut. And the longest return they allowed was 29 yards during the game. And it's Greg Olsen. We all tend to some of us love him, some of us don't. I don't really like him on the commentary. He said field goals are gonna get you beat, it always depends on the game. Like when you look at this game, this obviously wasn't a game for the offense to score a lot of touchdowns, which really didn't matter because the Vikings weren't able to do the same there. So taking the field goals and tacking on points was really the whole point of this game. And the special teams did it exactly what they had to do. So shout out to the special teams here.
Yeah, I think sort of special teams and kickers are. We've said about the whole Harbour Nepo hire, and he's coming good with this unit now. I think he's finally got to grips with what the special teams unit in the NFL needs to be. And the thing with field goals, I know everyone wants to see a touchdown over a field goal, but there's a lot to be said for keeping the scoreboard ticking over, especially when your defense is playing so dominantly and you know you're going to take the ball away. If your offense is coming to a bit of a sputter, then kick the 3, then let them attack again, take the ball back, and then have another go. And I think that is where what Jay Myers is either the top-rated kicker in the NFL at the moment.
I don't know, but he's the highest paid kicker in the league. So,
he's definitely the highest paid.
Yeah.
But I think it's invaluable having a team like that. Like the special teams unit has been fantastic, and I'll not have anything bad said about them at the moment until we start really whiffing on some returns and how we scheme and sort of block. But yeah, special teams get a mention. I love that. Mm-hmm. I had a winner, and we spoke about one coach. I'll give an honourable mention here to Aidan Durdy as our defensive coordinator. Shout out UK. There's a lot of chat in the in the comments here about that. I'll just have a quick shout here from Ben Aiden Dirty, mentioned UK. And there was another one about someone thinking that Dirty may be the first British head coach in the NFL, but that's not who I'm talking about. But go on, what were you going to say there, Brendan? Do you think that's accurate?
Well, I do know that if he gets hired as a head coach, we get 2 third-round picks out of it, so that's cool.
Bosh. I like that. I mean, from a man who went from playing, was it London Warriors, and I'm pretty sure he was on the team he was the coach for the other London team. I can't remember what they're called, Blitz. And he then obviously went out and did his sort of apprenticeship out there. He is just growing in his confidence and maturity, his knowledge of the game out there. And it strikes me as well that he's kind of being groomed within the NFL system to at some point be that British head coach hire, which is amazing. For us Brits over here, absolutely love to see it. But I am going to talk about the head coach. I'm going to talk about Mike Macdonald. And where I was struggling for a winner, this is one that Jonas sort of mentioned to me, and I thought, no, let's shine some light on Coach Mike. Defensively, his game plan, when you think about coming up against another fantastic defensive coach, defensive coordinator in Flores, he did everything right this game. 58 combined tackles, 4 sacks, 4 interceptions, 4 TFLs as well. It just everything clicked, and I think he really got a steer as well on the offense come the second half, because the first half things weren't working. We were trying to play a lot of these sort of like the more short medium passing games. It just didn't work. Second half came about, and whilst it was frustrating to watch during the game, that's why I said I'm quite glad we're doing this on a Wednesday. Having taken a step back, you can see why they went to this lateral passing or run heavy offense in the second half, because they weren't getting anything deep. That was basically the Vikings' whole defensive shtick was, you're not going to beat us deep, and we're just going to put so much pressure on Sam Darnold that he has to try and throw it quick and look at his deep to medium reads, which means he's going to get sacked, and it happened. So in the second half, when Mike Mack and Clint Kubiak had that chat, I think Mike Mack has steered it well. I've just seen clips of his most recent coach Mike Macdonald show as well, talking about other coaches who don't necessarily have a game plan. They just pick fancy plays that worked well against a couple of teams. Don't know who he was talking about there. I think Mike Macdonald is doing a fantastic job steering the ship on a game where the offense was spluttering and stuttering. He had everything about him to say, this is going to be a defensive game. Let's just take the ball away from them. Let's cause this rookie QB absolute nightmares, because he is probably going to be having fits about, some of these Seahawks D linemen barreling down on them, sort of PTSD type thing. If he sees a picture of Leonard Williams, he's going to be sort of twitching. I think he played a fantastic game, and he just was so lucky to have him. When you look at the other head coaches that are out there, I'll leave that with you guys. Like, I've said enough about Coach Mike. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I do think that you're right in that there was an understanding that, number one, the Vikings offense is not a threat in this game, so we don't necessarily need to think about we don't need to score 30 points to win this game. We don't need to score, honestly, we didn't even need to score 20. We did, but we didn't need to. So therefore, we're not going to overextend ourselves, because when you do that, you crank up the variance a little bit. The variance goes up a little bit, and you want to avoid that. And I think it also kind of, this is one thing that I've been talking about a lot on my channel recently about the offense, because there's been some concern from the fan base about this offense over the last month. But what I see is an offense that is not as explosive. It doesn't score as fast, But I actually think this offense is more sustainable. It's more repeatable. It's going to be more dependable in December and January.
Mhm.
And also, it's more in line with what Kubiak wants to do. And that means slowing things down a little bit. That means running the ball more, because we are running the ball better this month than we did in the first 2 months. And I think that means fewer big plays. And I think we have to live with that. And I think that it is a reasonable trade-off. So I like the fact that we are leaning into that, especially in a game like that one.
Yeah. Jonas, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the way Mike carries himself, and it's like he lets it known that this is his team, but he's also he's so approachable. He cares so much about his players. Like I said, he took responsibility for the replay. That Reed made the play, and that it was actually his call, which was bad. And getting to admit that takes a lot. But because he could say, yeah, okay, my players messed it up, but he's not taking himself out of the equation. He also said that every player is fighting for their starting job, and even Charles Cross is fighting for his left tackle spot every day. And he also said he's fighting for being the head coach every day. So he's got stakes in this as well. And he's also a thing I found really funny. He's got a great sense of humor, like how he described the Reek thing, and he also learns from his learning from his mistakes. Like the best example was when the Seahawks were not going to go for it on 4th down. The Seahawks were gonna kick another field goal, and he actually admitted that he heard the stadium boo and the fans saying, "Okay, just go for it" in that situation, and he admitted that he took the time out to go for it, and to be able to admit that in the heat of the moment that you're wrong, and that there's a couple of thousand who obviously see it a bit differently and want to really make a stand. I just really love his personality, and that we got him, and we got him for a lot more years.
Yeah, we have. So we have one more winner before we head on to our losers, and in my opinion, it's probably the biggest winner of this game. Brendon?
Yeah, it's got to be Ernest Jones, and it's not just the 2 interceptions either, although that's big. Hard to not have 2 interceptions in a game and not be a big winner, but even beyond that, he had 6 run stops in this game. And when I say run stops, I don't just mean run tackles. I mean run stops. These are unsuccessful run plays that he's causing with his tackles. And in most games, even really good players are going to have maybe 3, 4 at most. He had 6. Minnesota did not have a single meaningful good run in that whole game. So Ernest Jones is a big reason why. He's the tip of that spear. So really, really phenomenal game from him in ways that I think some people didn't even notice.
Yeah, there is the low-hanging fruit on when you look at the interceptions, obviously the pick 6, but I just think Ernest Jones is. We went through the change of the guard with the inside linebacker last year, and I genuinely think that Mike Mack's got his man. He's got his captain. He's got his commander in the center of that field, and he is proving now with all the other pieces around him just how effective he is. The Rams didn't want to trade into us, so he went to the Titans.
Right.
Titans, and then we got him from there. So now it's a matter of this. Here's what you could have had. He's just been absolutely fantastic for us. I find it really hard to put into words how much I like Ernest Jones. I don't buy player jerseys unless they're retired. but I'm very close to one of it. It's between him and Oops for me. Rob, Jonas, you can wax lyrical about Jones before we get onto the losers.
Yeah, we talked about Ernest Jones a lot, like we did about D-Law. I don't think I can add any more, but yeah, he's so important. He's so locked into this game, like he said after the game, where he said he was in a bit of a slump. Like I think he lost his father in July or June, and they were really close because obviously Ernest Jones the fourth is named after Ernest Jones the third, which was his dad. So he just said that he went through a tough stretch, and that this team also got him through it, and he just loves being with his brothers. He actually said that. So yeah, there's not much to say about it. Like, he's so locked in. It's his. He took a discount to be in Seattle to play for Mike McDonald. I think it says it all.
Yeah, I like it. And now we're drawing to the end of this pod. And I don't like to leave things on a downer. I try and be quite a happy-go-lucky scamp. But with every game, every sport, there are winners, but there are also losers. And we've all picked a loser. Brendon, you're going to pick a loser that I know is going to generate some comments, because there'll be a lot of people that think the same. Who is your loser, mate?
Well, if for no other reason than that the entire fan base has really turned against him, I regardless of anything else, like that kind of makes you a loser, right? We're talking about Anthony Bradford here, and I want to be clear about something. Part of the problem with Anthony Bradford is that he's not playing particularly well, but there's the other problem is when he makes mistakes, when he does things that are bad, it looks so egregious. It's very in your face. And there are other players on this team that make mistakes, right? Like Gray Zabel makes mistakes. Oluwatimi makes mistakes. Byron Murphy makes mistakes, but their mistakes look a little more normal. They're a little more subtle. Sometimes you don't even notice them unless you're really looking for it and you have to rewatch it. But Anthony Bradford, when he makes a mistake, he's jumping out of the TV into your lap because it's so there. And I think that's as big a problem as anything else. So I'm not here to say that he's as bad as some people are perceiving him to be. I don't think that he is. I do think that he is bad. I do think this is a problem. And I made a video earlier today on YouTube, and I made another one on Bleacher Report talking about what could be done about Anthony Bradford right now. I don't think there's much you can do, but it's very frustrating because the guy is extremely talented. The guy's very talented. His RAS scores are off the charts. He is one of the most athletic 340-pound guys you're ever going to find. But it's just not coming together, and I think this year is going to be the last straw.
Yeah. Jonas, go on before I hit the ground running with my rant.
Yeah, I think it's so difficult. Like you look at the O-line, it was always a theme for the Seahawks, and they've gotten so good compared to the last couple of years. Like Brendon said, Anthony Bradford sticks out like a sore thumb because, he got good plays which don't surface as much because his bad plays are so bad. Like you saw, the play I got in mind was where he, I think he was the pulling guard to the left, he just had to block the guy, but he didn't even try to. I don't know if he didn't see him, but he didn't stick his arm out, and it blows the whole play up because this defender he was supposed to block just gets to Zach Charbonnet and tackles him for a loss. And yeah, you're standing there and you say, okay, yeah, what happened? You know exactly what happened. And it's on the other hand, it's hard to say, yeah, we got to get rid of him. But Mike said in his press conference or in his Mike McDonald show with Brock and Salk that also, like all the others, like Charles Cross, also Anthony Bradford is competing for the right guard spot, and he earns it in practice. We get the Seahawks got Jalen Sandell coming back, and there's discussion. Okay, can you put him in at right guard there? But the system is built through 13 weeks, and now trying to make a difference by pulling one play out, and it's like a house of cards. Is it going to collapse, or are you going to stick with it? Are you going to live with it? And the way Mike and also Clint Kubiak are talking about Anthony Bradford, I don't think there's going to be a lot of change. Maybe I don't know. He's got an elbow injury. Maybe we may see. I don't know who went in at right guard. Christian Haynes. We may see him against the Falcons. But if Anthony Bradford is healthy, I think it's still his starting spot to lose. And but also like Brendon said, I don't think they're gonna re-sign him after the season. I don't know if he's going to be a free agent, but I think that the Seahawks are going in another direction, maybe signing a veteran there in the off season. But I don't think Anthony Bradford is going anywhere this season, at least.
Mm-hmm. My issue with Bradford, which I think is everyone's, and I think Brendon, you said it so succinctly. It's the fact that he's obviously an NFL caliber guard. His RAS score, everything is exceptional. My issue with him is, and like you said, it's I can't even call them highlight. The low light worthy plays are so distinctive that when he makes them, they are picked up by everybody. So that pulling play where he turned into the guard version of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, where he forgot he had arms to at least put out. Nothing. There's been plays where I'm honestly starting to worry and wonder if he needs to wear sports glasses, because there are so many plays where he just doesn't seem to pick something up in his periphery, or he just can't see anyone coming on a stunt. He just doesn't seem to have the attention span to do it. You also see a man that big getting marched back sort of 6 yards into a QB's lap. And, I'm not about for body shaming or anything like that. But if you look at him from the start of the season to now, and we shared a picture of this in our Discord during the game, he has packed on significant bad weight, and it's all around the midriff. And I don't care what anyone says as an ex-sportsman, if that's where you're carrying your weight, that isn't healthy weight, which is going to make you slower, more cumbersome, and it's going to affect your fast twitch ability. And I think that is another thing. And I'd love to get to the bottom of it and find out what it is. But there's got to be a right guard competition coming up soon. He can't carry on this way, because when you look at every bad play or every time that Darnold has got pressure on him, the majority of the time it's coming through that right guard spot.
And so right guards are easy to find. Mm-hmm. They're all over the place.
Yeah, that's the issue. But I think this is where you'll probably find Sundell, because they're really high on him and they want the athleticism there. I think there's going to be a high chance of him going, and we may even see some more Christian Haynes. I wouldn't be opposed to it, because if it's going to give Darnold that bit more confidence to sit in the pocket and throw, then I would be all for it. Right, that's your loser, Jonas. Let's get through your loser, then mine. before we wrap this up?
I actually, Ben wrote into the chat that it's all going to be the same loser ? No, it's not, because we picked different losers. So I'm going for a loser, which leads me into a bit of another topic. I got Vikings O-liner Blake Brendel for that horrible cheap shot against Josh Jobe. I don't know, most of you remember this play. Like he was trying to push the pile way down the field on a Jordan Mason run in the fourth quarter, and rushes in there, lowers his head, and aims for Josh Jobe's head, who already had a concussion this year, and Jobe is tumbling back. He goes into, he's not in the concussion protocol, luckily. So, but he has to be checked out. But obviously you have the cheap shot by Brendel. He gets flagged for it. But the thing I think makes him a loser, and gets a winner out of the Seahawks, is the chase down from Brandon Peely, who was trying to tackle the running back, and he sees the hit and immediately sucker punches Brendel, like standing up. I
wouldn't even call it a sucker punch. I would call it straight. That is just straight in your grill. That it's not a matter of he's come and blindsided him. He actually had his hand in his chest and then just went. That is sticking up for your team. That is a brotherhood play. That is, and I'm all for it.
Exactly. That's what I love about this team, and what leads me into it. Like, Peely immediately stood up for Jobe and saw that his brother was getting hurt, and seeing how close this team is gives me so much confidence. Like, we're going to lead back to Ernest Jones, because I think it was Michael Sean Dugar he talked to last year about protecting his teammates after, I think it was a cheap shot on Spoon. And he said to Mike, if you do something to me, I'll think about the consequences. If you do something to someone I go to war with, I don't care about the consequences, which says a lot about this team. And also, you had Matt Hasselbeck on Brian Nemhauser's show, and speaking about the struggles EJ had, and after he talked about it, you had this locker room video, and Ernest speaks about it and says, I really love that I get to be with you, with my brothers playing for this team. You immediately see Leo Williams bear hugging him, and it's just says so much about this team, like, getting back to Brendel, he didn't have a chance against this brotherhood. So it's really great to see, and
I love that. I'm going to round this out with one final loser, and again, it's not a Seahawk. It's Justin Jefferson. He must be sitting in his luxury apartment or mansion in Minnesota, thinking to himself, what have I done in my life to deserve this? Arguably the best wide receiver in the league over the past couple of seasons, and this season he's looking at 799 receiving yards of 62 receptions and 2 receiving TDs, having gone through JJ McCarthy, Carson Wentz, and what was the guy's name?
Max Brosma.
Max Brosma. That forgettable that instantly the game's finished, and that's it. All I know is he looks a bit like Jack Sparrow. But he genuinely must be thinking to himself, why? And there's that video clip, which I don't know if people are lip reading correctly, where he's speaking to Sam Darnold, and it looks like he's saying, come and get me, bro. But he is obviously not happy with what's happened there. I think the Vikings have got a lot to answer for with their QB room, overdrafting JJ McCarthy, which is something that Mitch pointed out in our pre-draft pods. where he said he's going to go high in this draft because of the lack of QB talent, but he's not worth it, and it's shown. So for me, Justin Jefferson, you're better than that, mate. I think it might be time to get up out of Dodge.
Now, Minnesota's going to get Mac Jones this offseason, I think. I'm feeling it.
Oh, do you think there's going to be a push to get Daniel Jones back?
That could happen too, but Daniel's probably going to cost a lot of money. Mac is going to be at least manageable. And Minnesota actually has some cap problems next year. They're giving all that money to Jonathan Allen. I think Greenard's cap hits get bigger. Jefferson, of course. I think, Will Fries. That's another good one. I think Ryan Kelly kicks in pretty hard next year. So they, I think Darisaw's contract is going to balloon up soon here too. So I think it's going to be Mac Jones. I'm feeling it.
Oh, also
I'm going to timestamp that.
Yeah, you have the connection towards Shanahan as well with KOC. So I think there's some connection there as well. I agree with Brendon.
Yeah, I like it. Well, that, ladies and gents, has been our Seahawks versus Vikings review pod. Thank you very much to anyone who tuned in on our stream or over on Brendon's. Brendon, for our stream's purposes, do you want to tell everyone where they can find you?
Sure. So I'm Seahawks Brendon Nelson on YouTube. That is where I post most of my content. Seahawks Brendon Nelson. But outside of that, I also do have a Facebook page, same name. I have an X, Seahawks BN. I'm doing a lot of content for Bleacher Report this year. You can find me on Seahawks BN over there. I do 4 videos and a live stream every week there. I'm on TikTok now as well. I've started posting over there a little bit. And I'm on Twitch. I'm on Kick as well. So I'm all over the place. But Seahawks Brendon Nelson is typically where you can find me.
Holy cow, I thought that we got around when it came to social media. Wow. And for anyone who's joining this through Brendon's stream, we are the 12 Talk podcast. So we're the UK Seahawks official podcast. We have been very fortunate to have a German Seahawker, and our friend Jonas over there, join us. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, all of the social media bits at 12 Talk Pod. We're on X, TikTok, Facebook and Instagram. We like to get 12s on to talk about games, do reviews and everything in the off season. And this has been another fantastic one. Jonas, anything you want to shout out for the German Seahawkers whilst you're on?
No, not a lot. We actually got our 10-year anniversary coming up next year, which we're planning. But right now it's just having a lot of watch parties here, a really good community as well, and just really looking forward to a great season.
That reminds me, you can join our Discord. The link is down below in the description on the 12 Talk video. We've got 12s from all over the world, and you can join us talking about Seahawks. We've got Seahawks podcasters, we've got journalists, we've got just fans, and it's a fantastic place to be part of a watch party as well. Well, gentlemen, this has been an absolute pleasure. I cannot wait to rewatch this. I'm going to get everything clipped up, and it'll be out on all of our social medias. But Brendon, we like to try and finish with a "Go Hawks" in unison. Are you with us on this? Because we've only done it once.
All right, I'm up for it.
All right, I'm going to count us down from 3, and we'll go after 1. So ready, guys? Thank you to everyone who's joined. Please make sure you like, subscribe. Share these videos with whoever you can from our stream, from Brendon's stream. We really appreciate it. But 3, 2, 1.
Go Hawks! Close.
That was so close. I'm really